everyone. So, a few years ago, I covered the story of Sam the Sandown ghost clown. And believe it or not, today we have an update. And I wanted to share the new information that has come out about this case. But before I do, I wanted to give a quick recap of the story of the ghost clown. So, if you're already familiar, feel free to skip ahead because there are timestamps in the description. But to those who do not know, I will give a brief recap. Basically, in 1973 on the Isle of Wight, there were two children. And these children were about 7 years old, and their names are not known, but they have been called Faye and Jack. So Faye and Jack are exploring, and they come across this creature. So they hear this sound like an ambulance siren, and then this creature comes into view once they follow the sound. And he crawls out of a river, and he's very strange looking. He looks like a clown. He has a round, alabaster white face. He has a pointed hat. He has these clothes that look patchwork and torn. And he has 3 fingers on each hand, 3 toes on each foot. He's wearing blue gloves. And he seems very otherworldly. And the kids are frightened at first, but it soon turns out that the creature means them no harm. He greets them by saying, "Hello, and I am all colors Sam." Or rather, he writes it on this notebook that he had. And he invites the kids into his house, which is this metallic hut. And they go inside, and it's a very basic setup with some basic wooden furniture and a heater. And the only other possession that he seems to have, this creature whose name seems to be Sam, he has a microphone, but besides that, he is just living in the woods without many possessions. And apparently he hides from people because he's scared that they will hurt him, and he forages for berries. And the kids just hang out with him and spend about 30 minutes in the shed before they decide it's time to go home. And they leave unharmed. And there were actually some workmen in the area fixing a telephone pole or something of that nature, and they did not see him or the hut. So it was like this creature was invisible. And they asked if he was a ghost, and he said, "No, but I am in an odd sort of way." And no one quite knows what that means, but we now have some new information. It turns out that Faye, now a grown-up, has talked to this man, and his name is Paul A.T. Wilson. So he grew up on the Isle of Wight, and his dad is the one who told him the story of Sam the ghost clown. So he has been fascinated with this story his entire life since he was a kid, and he managed to track down the real Faye, supposedly. Now, several people claiming to be Faye have come to him over the years, but they've always been obvious frauds because they would seem to be in it for the money or the fame or what have you, and they would talk about their lives have just been so changed by their wondrous experience. But this fae, the person that Paul talked to recently, she talked about her relationship with Sam in a very matter-of-fact way. She thought of him just as a friend and spoke of him like a friend and a real person. And though she acknowledges, that it's something extraordinary, she seems much more genuine and down to earth than the previous people claiming to be fae that he talked to. Something else is she actually had evidence. She had a box of documents, like handwritten correspondence between her father and the Bufora journal that published the story in the first place. She had handwritten accounts by her father, who had a lot of experiences with UFOs. He encountered many of them in his life, and he kept a meticulous journal of his UFO sightings. She also, believe it or not, had what is apparently the notebook that Sam drew in to communicate with the kids when he met them. And in that notebook, there were things like drawings in a pseudo-cubist blocky style of things in nature, like trees and rocks and strange symbols. So it seems that this fae might be the real deal. And she told Paul a bunch of stories about her further encounters with Sam the ghost clown, because it didn't just stop at the one encounter when she was a child. So in this video, I am going to tell you about Faye's further encounters with Sam. I hope you enjoy. Faye's second encounter with Sam happened when she was a teenager in 1982. So she was walking to a bus stop, and then the environment started to feel very strange. She heard buzzing, and the air seemed to shimmer around her. She then saw Sam, who looked just the same as he had the first time she had seen him. He was wearing his clown-like garb with his ragged clothes and his painted face and his pointed hat, and his antennae were sticking out of his head as they did before. Instead of a microphone like he had when she was a kid, this time he had a new device, something that looked like a flute, but it didn't make any music. He was able to make drawings with it in the air, drawings that looked like chalk. So think, I suppose, Nickelodeon's old show Chalk Zone, only in real life. He informs Faye that things are better for him now. He no longer is hiding from people like he used to, and he's no longer foraging for food. He doesn't explain any further about why things have gotten better. Before hopping away, he says, "I will see you again 4 more times, if you want." The third encounter happened in the summer of 1983, when Faye was 17 years old. She was at a park with her friends, when suddenly her reality started to shift. She smelled something like soil and burnt leaves. It was an overpowering odor of earthiness. Then Sam appeared, but this time he wasn't alone. When Sam came to her when she was a child, he mentioned that there were others like him, but this was the first time Faye had ever seen them. They were shimmering beings in patchwork clothes, similar to what Sam always wore, but Faye couldn't see them clearly. Around them were doorway-like structures, each radiating a unique atmosphere. Through them, Faye could see different scenes, like a field of stars, some greenery, like shrubs or trees, and last but not least, a high altitude view of Europe, the entire continent. The reason Sam was showing her this was because he was trying to make her feel at ease about the Cold War, which of course was going on at the time. He told her that Europe will unify, there will be no nuclear war, and everything will be fine. He then reminds her that she has 4 visits if she still wants them. Faye then departs from him and returns to the park bench, but her friends act as if she never left, which very much confuses her because she thought she had been away talking to Sam, but apparently she had been with them the whole time, or at least that is what they told her. The 4th encounter happened in Newport in the winter of 1984. At this point in her life, Faye was dating someone, and she was going to see her boyfriend. She was walking down an alley when she felt compelled to change her route, and when she did, Sam appeared to her, this time looking more human, in normal clothes with no painted face. He warned her not to visit her boyfriend. Faye listened and left. It turns out that her boyfriend and his friends were arrested for a robbery that night, and Sam had protected her from getting mixed up in all that trouble. Faye's 5th and so far final encounter happened where it all began, on the Isle of Wight in 1989. At this point, Faye was an adult, and she had gotten married, and she was about to move with her husband to the mainland. One day she went for a walk, and she found the same futuristic-looking metallic hut that Sam had lived in when she first met him when she was a kid. There she found Sam, and he invited her inside for some tea. The tea smelled like some strange, unidentifiable herbs, and when Sam served it, he poured it into a cup that seemed to be made of porcelain, but when you grabbed it, it was soft and pliable. The tea, nonetheless, tasted sweet and was quite comforting. The room was bright, but Faye could not identify any light source. So Faye and Sam had a long talk, but nowadays Faye can't remember the details because she says it was like waking up from a vivid dream after she left Sam. She can remember some things, but by and large, she's forgotten most of it. What she does remember, though, is that Sam predicted the fall of the Berlin Wall while they were talking, and that happened later that year. He told her that this is the second to last time they'll meet, and he said that he will meet her, quote, one more time at the end. Faye then left Sam, and she looked back, and Sam and the hut were gone. So those were all of the encounters that Faye had with Sam, the Sandown ghost clown, after her initial encounter when she was just a child. I thought that it was interesting, and I didn't say this before, but Sam told her when she asked in the final encounter where he came from, he said, from this place, but different. And he never explained what that meant. So there might be creatures like this existing parallel to us that we don't ordinarily perceive. And Faye should count herself lucky, in my estimation, to have been able to have this experience. And sure, it's a little bit creepy, but at the same time, it's rather beautiful, this special relationship she has with this unknown creature who seems to have been there for her as a guardian angel, who reassured her that the world would not end when she had fears about that, and who protected her when she might have been getting into trouble. So this was a beautiful story, and I'm glad I discovered it. I did not expect for there to be an update about Sam the ghost clown, but amazingly enough there is. Then again, we have to take this with a grain of salt, because who knows, maybe this wasn't the real Fae, maybe this was just an elaborate hoax. But if it was, the person who did it certainly went to a lot of effort. I'm going to decide for myself, and I am leaning towards this being genuine, but decide for yourself. Make of it what you will. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you found this update on this fascinating case interesting, and I hope everyone has a safe end of summer. Thank you guys. Stay safe out there, and remember, don't get scared out of sorts.